Happy Sunday. James said, I'm early for once. Yes, James. I love that. Oh, man. Janet, did James beat you? Oh, man. I just like ate so fast and my food is just like in the pit of my stomach. I was starving. Hi, Janet. How was you guys' week? Good evening, Theo. Excuse me. Hi, Hector from Connecticut. Janet, we did have a good week. We did. Man, I think this is like day 11 with no coffee. Day 11 with no coffee. No added sugar, no white flour. So I lost like 8 pounds so far. Well, I'm pretty sure I was like had a lot of water weight when I got back from Mexico. But I'm 8 pounds lighter, so I'm good. But I'm feeling better. I'm just avoiding, the acidic foods and things like that. So I had a little bit of a breakdown because I was already like lightheaded and I really wanted coffee. Like, Vic is still living his best life, drinking 2 cups of coffee, sometimes 3, depending on the day, right? And so, the smell is just so intense for me. It just smells so good. But it's all good. We doing it, guys. We doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna try to incorporate like working out this week and just kind of see how that goes. But yeah, just be eating super clean, healthy. We like so I don't know if you guys know, but there's a thing called Yuka app, and let me show you guys. This app is free. And it's cool because you could be in the grocery store and you could scan it. It tells you kind of like it gives it a grade, right? So if stuff is poor or it's good or it's excellent, right? Or if it has additives, if they're like limited risk, high risk, right? Stuff like that. So this is what the Yuka app looks like. Let me just try to show you. You could scan it. Let me show you. Hold on. So we use the Yuka app. So I did like a big shopping. You see, that's the Yuka app. It's like a picture of a carrot. So that's I'm telling you, you just start scanning stuff in your house and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. Like, so Vic was doing the pantry yesterday, and like I said, because we just did a big shopping, and we're trying to go like organic or like no antibiotics and things like that, right? And so the honey graham crackers, which I love because that's how you make s'mores, is bad. It got an 8 out of 100 rating, and it has 5 additives. It's not good for you at all. So we're like, okay, we need to try to come up with a better way of making s'mores, right? So we're just super conscious of what we're eating and things like this. So Barbara, I got you. Let me see who else. Hi, Felipe. We are all good. The kids are good. Can you believe we're about to be in April already? Like, where has this time went? Please let me know. I'm looking a little like, look at this. Your girl has been in the kitchen all day, all day. I've been meal prepping for the week because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. All right. So that's right. Yeah. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I said that right. So I literally been in the kitchen. I just had dinner right now. Hi, Cosette. Yes, thank you guys. Feeling better, feeling better. So I think is so we did get blood work done this week, and you know how like Quest is on it. They give you the results like a day the next day or whatever, right? And it just has what is it called? So my rates, like my numbers are extremely high with an autoimmune disease, which we already know. But the ones that is high for, it's like lupus. I don't know if it's Sjögren's. Sjögren's. Am I saying that right? Sjögren's. Yeah, but Sjögren's sounds very like maybe that's it. It's like when you have like it affects your body and things like that. But you also get these nodules. I don't know if you can like my lymph node. So this is my lymph node is coming out, and it comes out when I eat. It's like my salivary gland. It's called a sublingular gland, and you know it comes out especially when I'm eating. So I just ate and it's out right here, right? So I also dry eyes, yes. So I got a sonogram done. The tapa is over there, puppy. I got a sonogram done. I have to get a CT done of it. So I'm waiting for the insurance and all that stuff. But my doctor's appointment to go over the sonogram is this week. I have a few doctor's appointments this week, but I'm feeling much better than I was when I got back from Mexico. But yeah, something's definitely up with my body and my immune and stuff like that. So Janet, I can't like that's so crazy that your dad has that. Does he get like the swollen lymph nodes like in your neck too? But all right, aside from that, do we have anyone new here? Anyone is new? Like, let me give you a shout out. Okay, no, okay. Hi Karen. Oh, praying for my healing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hi Dee. So I wanted to let you guys know. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Hi Karen, you new here? Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my YouTube fam over here. They rock with me, looking crazy and everything. Hi Pedro. Good afternoon. Pedro said good afternoon, everybody. I told Cosette you don't look good in your last video. Yeah, it was really like I was not feeling well at all. But you know, I'm taking care of my gut so that my gut could take care of everything else. So we are working, right? Karen says she's from the Bronx. Okay, Boogie Down Bronx. All right. I love the Boogie Down Bronx. I went to school there from kindergarten to third grade. I went to PS 280 on Mashula Parkway. I think it was off Mashula Parkway. I'm not sure, but D is also new here. Welcome, D. We are excited to have you guys. Listen, this live, we just chop it up seriously. It's nothing formal, nothing like that. I let you know what's going on in the market. I answer questions, right? We get to know each other. So we've been doing this for a while, right? A while already, and I absolutely love you guys. So I don't know if you know this, but Pedro said, but still you was working, strong person. I got no other choice. The bank don't care that I don't feel well, right? My mortgage don't care that I don't feel well. You could even tell like in my last video, on Monday's video, oh man, I was not feeling good at all, but we had to do what we had to do. So condos here in Florida, right? It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess because you remember a few years ago when that building collapsed and people passed away and things like that, right? In South Florida. Well, now condo buildings over the age of 30, they had a year to assess, to get everything assessed as far as, what needs to get done and what needs to be fixed because it's over 30 years. And then now what needs to get fixed is going to end up being on the homeowners, right? Because now they're going to have assessments. And I've seen some crazy assessment fees, which essentially is now each homeowner's responsibility, right? And so there are a lot of condos on the market down south, and it's so sad, right? Because they're selling like 40% below market value, right? Because they are trying to get out before those assessments start kicking in, right? And then a lot of people, especially down south, a condo, we got a lot of people who are retired and on fixed income, right? So imagine now being told, you have to pay, I don't know, just as an example, extra $1,000 a month for this assessment. So that's what's going on in the condo world here in Florida. It's so crazy. It's so sad, right? And I bet investors are gonna come in and purchase them, but then as far as investors, it's going to be like holding fees now, and what the restrictions are as far as long-term rental, short-term rental, things like that. So it's a bit of a mess here with the condos, and a lot of people trying to sell their units because they are not going to be able to afford those new assessments, right? So that's bad. So JP said, Janet from Jersey is here. Oh, we have Janet. Janet Hernandez is from Jersey too. T said, my tia has acid reflux and had biopsies and colonoscopies. I told her to follow your 3-month diet. So keep me updated on the results because she has a lot of pain. Yeah, it's not easy at all, guys. I know we're jumping back and forth, but it's not easy. Like I said, I had a little bit of a breakdown because number one, I wanted coffee. Number two, I'm like, my food is so bland. Like, I love cooking with the sofrito and all that stuff and the garlic and the onion, and I love tomatoes and all that. And it was really hard for me. And Katrina found this, I think it was Katrina. We were looking to see what kind of alternatives there are, and there was this like garlic onion, but it comes from chives, right? So it's a kind of bulb that comes from the chives, but that has a garlic flavor, and it's not as acidic. And so I just got it and I put it on. We had bison burgers today, and I put it on, and it tastes pretty good, right? I'm just seeing how my stomach reacts to it. I'm not really missing coffee right now. Yes, Katrina was the one. I'm not really missing coffee right now. When I smell it, I'm like, oh my god, that smells so good. But I'm okay. But Katrina also found me another like option, like a no acidic type of coffee. The only thing about that is that I would literally have to drink it black because I can't even have any sugar, right? So I don't know, because with coffee and me, I love coffee. Like, it's a whole experience for me. I like the half and half. I like, the sugar and all of that stuff. Costa said, exactly. Start from the inside, taking care of your inside first. Soon we'll be calling Katrina to set up an appointment with you, amiga. Yes, Costa, I'm super excited. Kaylee said, would it be possible to be on a list that sends you updates on new developments being built, etc., so we can be one of the first to purchase in that neighborhood when they have all of the incentives? That's a great question. Maybe we can set something like that up, right? So what I can tell you guys, and I don't know if I can't, like, all of the days are just mixed in with, no, I didn't tell you guys because I just found out this week. So I was with a family from Arizona. They're going to be moving in a year, but they wanted to kind of like do an exploratory visit and things like that. And you know how I always say, guys, I'm down for it, right? I can't be with you every single day, right? but I could be with you about a day or two. So we went to they wanted to see K Hovnanian Four Seasons. It's a 55 and over community in Kissimmee. Now that community is actually going to be sold out. They only have a few move-in ready homes. Um but the sales agents were, because I was like, oh, where are you gonna go next, right? Like, what, since this community is closed out, where are you going next? And he was like, I'm going to Davenport. I was like, what? You coming over here to Davenport? And yes, it's not far from everything. It's actually not far from me. They're gonna have townhomes and single family homes. That's all I know right now. So I don't know like what the prices are starting at or anything like that. So I'm super excited for that. That's what made me. So Kaylee, we probably could like let you know. So there's a lot of new communities being built, same builders, and like for example, Richmond Americans just opened up a community in Dundee, which is not far from here at all. And so yeah, you're gonna get, of course, it's always great. So it's two things, right? When you go into a community when it first opens, is great, right? Because you are going in at the lowest price, right? And by the time the community is closed out, you're gonna have instant equity. Like I always tell my story, my community, I got in really early. I don't think I was the first one here, right? There was still there was houses already here, but I still got in at a good time. And I paid 306 for my house. And a couple of years later, my community closed out, which basically means is that that's it. There was no more homes to build. And they were building my floor plan for like 400. They were selling it for like 450,000, right? So yes, but also when there's a closeout, you're gonna get some really good incentives as well, right? So I mean, I would prefer starting in a community, but yeah. James said, sorry I missed a bunch last week and didn't know all of this. I hope you feel better, Alexis. Oh, thank you, James. I appreciate that. I really, really, really do. Cosette said, thank you, Katrina. So looking forward for that moment to happen and work with you all. Oh, we're super excited. T said, my friend wants to sell her condo. No updates for 190,000. I told her she needs to do updates. How much are senior living leasing near you? I seen on the news this week that senior living costs are going up. You know what? I honestly don't know what like the senior living rent goes for. They have a few communities here, especially like in the Central Florida area near like Poinciana, where it has kind of like a senior living lifestyle type of thing. It's not assisted living. And I think for the most part, they take your whole check because they're feeding you and all of that. Kaylee said, yes, how could I start something like that up with you? Yeah, let me figure out how that's possible for like coming soons and things like that. The only thing is that like if there's coming soons, we don't have information in the sense of what those prices are going to start at, right? But we can have a list of upcoming new communities, and then just kind of maybe send updates or something like that. I think that would be great idea. So this past week was very, very, very busy. We had walkthroughs. We had 4 closings this week. Oh my gosh, yeah, we have 4 closings this week. It's so funny. One of my clients, we went to when we were looking at houses, he was like, I don't really want a big house, right? It's just me and my fiance, and so I'm not really looking for a big house. Why he got over 3,200 square feet home is so beautiful. I was like, okay, I need to do a video of this. So it's a Pulte home, right? And it's called the Winthrop, I think it is. No. No. It's a 5-bedroom. I think it's 5 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. It's a really big house. I want to go. I want to go. Record that so that you guys can see it. It's a really nice house. It's a nice community too. It's in Lake Alfred, but where it is in Lake Alfred, you're literally 6 minutes away from I-4, so that's good. Where else? I had clients, second time clients that they're buying with me. They bought the R Horton home in Ocala Crossings. And then we had my client move from Maryland here. He retired from the UPS, and they built their home in Ocala and Marion Oaks. They went with Kay Hovnanian. And then my other clients who they both retired from the military. They moved from Indiana over here. We've been under contract for forever because they built from the ground up, and their house is freaking beautiful. They have 5 beautiful girls, and I think their house is over like 4,200 square feet. They bought in Mineola, Lancy home, and oh man, what is the floor plan called? It's not the Exberry, it's the Palmer, and it has like a little casita, and that's what it's called, the casita. And it's kind of like you can have a kitchenette with like a space for a bed and their own bathroom and closet. So you have 2 staircases in this house. Oh my gosh, it's a beautiful house. They're gonna put a pool back there, so I'm super, super, super excited for them. I don't take it lightly when people reach out to me and want to work with us here at the Evolve Estates Group. Like I really appreciate that, because like I always say, there's just so many different realtors on YouTube that they can call, right? So I really, really appreciate that. Now, this upcoming week, we have 2 closings. One for Onyx Homes. Then you guys know the one that's it's basically like a modular, like the bathroom gets built on in the factory, and then they just like put it in, and they have like the concrete walls. So I have clients that are closing on that house, and then my other clients built from the ground up. They're moving to St. Cloud, and they built with MI Homes. They're moving from Miami to St. Cloud area. So yeah, it's been such a blessing. So we kind of oversaturated our channel, and I didn't even know that was such a thing. So we were doing 3 videos per week, and we seen that like the subscriber count was down and the views were down and things like that. So it is possible that we've oversaturated the channel, which, like I said, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. But so we're gonna, for the next 4 weeks, we're only gonna do 1 video a week. And most likely it's gonna be, so tomorrow so it's going to be every Monday that we're going to post. And then after the 4 weeks, we'll go to 2. And then I think that's it. We'll just stay at 2 videos per week. So tomorrow we did a video in Ocala, but in Irish Acres. So Irish Acres is just absolutely beautiful. I like Irish Acres. So where Irish Acres is literally only about a 5 to 7 minute drive to the turnpike, right? But in Irish Acre, it's a gated community, but there's no amenities, right? So the HOA is like $66 per month, and that's just for the gate and just like the upkeep of the streets, right? But most of the houses are like on 0.75 of an acre, maybe a little bit more, and the houses are not on top of each other at all. So we toured a builder called Currington, so Currington Homes, and it was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, but a side garage on 0.75 of an acre. I think you guys are really, really going to enjoy that video, because I really, really, really enjoyed that house. It is absolutely beautiful. And then yeah, so we're only going to do the 1 video. We already have some in the pipeline, but we're only going to post 1, because like I said, my subscriber count is low, and my views and all of that. So all right, let me start working. Let me start listening. Let me start reading comments. Okay, HR said, what is the real estate climate in Ocala? Is there a lot of inventory? Yeah, I would say that there's a lot of inventory. You have to figure that there's over um 35 builders, like private builders. Some are public, but a lot of them are smaller private builders in Ocala. So there's still a lot of inventory. I feel like if the builders are pricing the house right, they're going off of the market, right? But there have been some houses that I've seen on the market for like 200, 300 days. But again, it could be that it's overpriced, right? So there's a lot happening in Ocala, like Marion Oaks. I just found out that Kay Hovnanian is actually building a community in Marion Oaks. So it is going to be an HOA community. It's going to be really low, and there's no CDD. So, but there's going to be amenities in there and things like that. So that's upcoming. I also seen that Lennar is going to start building in Marion Oaks as well. And then, oh, we also did tour Copperleaf so that you guys see that. That'll probably be up in a few weeks. Copperleaf is a Highland Home community. So, well, Ryan Homes is in there as well. But there's no CDD, low HOA. James said, the last video of DR Horton was nice, and that almost 3,400 square foot model was not much more. I need to rewatch that video. I don't remember the garage. Yeah, so I don't show the garage because they have like they usually have it locked, and the construction manager usually is in there. And I know like the bigger one, the Holden, wasn't much more. I think it was like in the 430s. Like, are you serious? And that's why I want to go back. I already called them. I usually work with John there. He's a DR Horton agent, and he works at that community. And I called John and I said, listen, I said, when is a Holden gonna be available? Because I want to record it. That's a big house for a good amount of like for $430,000. That's a good price. And they also have a model called the Lantana in that community, which I wanted to tour as well, but they won't have one ready till maybe about June. And that's a 4.5 bath. And that's from what I've heard, like a more popular floor plan. I don't know. I don't remember walking through a Lantana. But that's something to keep in mind as well. So I agree. I want to check out the Holden. You can have the cookie. Yeah. You want the fruit? Yeah. Okay. Cosette say, hey mamita, we have been watching a few YouTubes where Ocala has homes 2 to 3 green circles on the ground on the front yard. What is that? So that's an Arab, not an Arabic, Arab. How do I say it? Hold on. Aerobotic. Hold on. Aero. Okay, it's an aerobic septic system. So an aerobic system is a small wastewater treatment system that uses oxygen to break down waste more efficiently than the traditional septic system. So a lot of builders are doing that. So those are going to be most likely, they're usually like 3 of them in a line, and they have the big circles, and it's like a big green cap. Mm-hmm. Christopher said, I would only want a 1,000 square foot home. That's a small home. Is it just you? T said, yeah, Maryland is crazy expensive. I bet. Billy said, Onyx, holla. Pedro said, are all of the houses prices videos you showed negotiable? Absolutely. I feel like everything in real estate is negotiable. Just so we just went under contract with a family that I've been in contact with for some time now, maybe like 6 months. And they were unsure like what builder they wanted to go with, what floor plan, but they decided on the Amulite, which is one of my favorite Richmond American floor plans. And they were like, oh well, what do you think we could get the house for? I was like, I don't know, we have to, put in an offer. And I was talking to the agent, the builder's agent, and I was like, hey, is there room for negotiation? And she was like, oh, well, she goes, well, we already discounted the house, and we already we're already giving, I think it was like 20,000 towards closing costs. And listen, guys, whoever has a VA loan, maybe the time is now, because some builders have the interest rate 4.375 or 4.325, and you could use some of that 20,000 to buy it down to 3.99, right? And so she was like, I don't know if they will accept it. I was like, okay, well, we're gonna try anyway. So my clients were like, oh, let's offer, I think it was like 579.9, right? And the house was priced at 583. So I was like, I think we should go in at 575, and it got approved, right? So I saved them like $5,000. I mean, that's like $30 a month, so that's good. Hi, Cindy. So yes, Pedro, everything is negotiable for the most part. Sometimes you have builders like who are like, absolutely not. There's no more room. We can't, lower the purchase price and things like that. So it's very rare, but it happens. James said, I'm in Maryland near Delaware and Pennsylvania, and our taxes are now cheaper than Florida, and insurance is reasonable, but I'm out of the Beltway. What is the Beltway? T said, I was looking in Rainbow Estates, Levi County. My friend moved there, built a house on 1 acre. It was hard to get in contact with a realtor to see if I could purchase an acre lot. I mean, there's definitely acre lots, or they have like houses already built on acre lots. Carmen said the HOA should be banned in Florida. It's so crazy. I feel like it's a split opinion here, where some people are like, I would definitely have to live in an HOA. I don't want to see my neighbor's grass 50 feet high or 50 cars in the lawn and things like that. And then there's some people who are like, I don't like HOAs, right? So I think it's split. Kimberly, yes, it's for the septic. What do you guys think? Do you guys prefer HOA? Do you not prefer? I really, there are clients of mine who are like, I want to be in an HOA community. Christopher said, I would like a swimming pool larger than my house, since I would spend most of my time by the pool. Now that's living the Florida life. I love that. Carmen said the HOA will make you lose your home. A lot of people are selling their house because of the HOA. Yeah, there are some stricter HOAs in Florida in general. I think in general, whoever has an HOA, right? It's just gonna depend. Some HOAs are very, very lax. Some are just very like, this is what it says and this is what you need to do and all that. So Bruno said, I know house prices in Ocala, Denellen are coming down. I've seen some price decreases, right? Again, we're in a buyer's market. So what that means is that when you're in a buyer's market, that means that there's a certain amount of we're not like in a medium market, we're not in a seller's market. So is the seller's market like a equal type of thing, like in the middle, and then buyer's market. So buyer's market is when you have a percentage of inventory, and so yeah, we definitely are in a buyer's market. And so what happens in a buyer's market is that you have more to choose from, right? And I feel like you essentially have more negotiating power. Now, don't get it twisted. There are some houses that still experience multiple offer situations. And the reason being is that the houses may be immaculate, right? You have, let's say, a new roof, a new AC. The house is just absolutely beautiful. The lot is great. Maybe it's the area, right? Maybe it's an area with an A-rated school zone, and everything else is just aligning, and you price it right. Oh yeah, you can still have multiple offer situations here. James said the Beltway is Washington, D.C. Oh, okay. Sally said, I prefer not. Janice said we would prefer no HOA. Bruno said HOA is necessary but under audit. Yep. My T said my budget doesn't allow HOA, but if it would allow, I would love it. What is your budget? I'm just curious. Cosette said, "Hi, Carmen. Yes, that's true. I'm seeing a lot of condo sales due to the very high HOA. It's ridiculous. Nope, no HOA for me. A very, very low HOA. No more than $100 per month." I felt that. Kimberly said, "I had a horrific experience with my current HOA a few years ago. The management company said I hadn't paid my dues. I had and filed foreclosure paperwork with the sheriff." Yeah. So if you don't pay for your HOA dues, you can absolutely lose your house. The HOA can take it. Absolutely. Eileen said, "I don't like HOA at all. There should just be laws that you can't do anything that would jeopardize the value of your home." Hi, Margaret. Sally said, "I want a farmhouse, but I need a good college as well." Are you looking for your was it your son? Is he going to stay with you while he's going to college? I need you to go upstairs. Carmen said, "You don't need HOA because if you see the grass high, call the county. If you see something wrong, call the county code enforcement. That's why the taxes." Yeah. I mean, I think it also depends on the county as well. Sorry, I'm going to take a bite of my food. JP said, "We own a house but want to move down there. What do we do first?" Okay, hold on. So it depends, right? It depends if you need to use the money from that house to buy a house here. If that's the case, then you're going to have to put that house on the market and most likely under contract because, well, it depends now because of the market we're in, but a lot of sellers are not going to take their house off of the market if your house is not even under contract yet, right? So what happens is that you're going to have a contingency, right? So if you buy a house here, it's contingent upon the sale of your house wherever you're at. Now, if, like, for example, I have a client who he called me, he really likes Calessa Township, and he spoke to the lender and he actually didn't have to sell his house in order to qualify for a Calessa Township house, right? So so he's just gonna buy that one, and then now he's deciding whether he's gonna sell that house or he's going to rent it out, right? So if you need the funds from that house to buy this house, is gonna be a contingency, right? But also what you have to take into consideration is that if you're relocating from, let's just say, New York to Florida, right? If you're still working, you're gonna have to figure that out too, right? Because if you're still working, the bank is going to be like, there's no way that that's going to be your primary residence because you have to report to work every day there. Unless you work remote, then that's a whole different story. And unless you're retired and you're on a fixed income, that's a different story too. But it's possible. Christopher said the issue with HOAs, the price can increase and you have no control over that. That's absolutely right. But what happens is that in the bylaws, it will state what the maximum that it can increase per year, right? And sometimes the HOA decreases, right? So for me, example, my HOA decreased and I was like, okay. Nuro said, "Is there an option to have a tankless water heater and a smart panel box?" You would have to do that afterwards. And if you're building from the ground up, a lot of the bigger builders are offering tankless water heaters. But I'm not sure, like, if, like, let's say if you're building from the ground up, if that's an added option or things like that. It's going to depend. But I have seen a lot of builders offering like that tankless water heater. as just kind of like a standard option, but those are the bigger builders, and those tend to be in like maybe like the $500,000-$600,000 price point. Pedro said, Alexis, in the case a person has payoff house and wants to buy in Ocala, we'll need to hire 2 agents or one can handle the sale and buy deals. Okay, that's a great question, Pedro. So it's just gonna depend, right? If you're in Florida, yeah, I would be able to handle the sell and the buy side, right? I can do both. If you're in another state, right, if you have to sell in another state, then you would have to have 2 agents because I'm not licensed in any other state but Florida. Yes, the triplets. Yes, Sally. 2 girls and a boy. I mean, there are multiple like different school options. You want to see what they want to major in, right? I think that's important to know as well. Cosette said, exactly. Agree with Christopher. You can't control it. It will always go up, never down. Mine went down, but it could be that I also have a CDD. My CDD hasn't went up, thank God. But I need you guys to know this about CDDs because I don't think a lot of agents are touching on this. And I think it's very, 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 very important, right? Number one, and this is why I always tell you guys. So I went to, well, number one, I always tell you guys, never go to a new construction community without me. The first time you need to call me and I will go with you or I will register you under me so that I am your real estate agent. This has happened way too many times where people go themselves. They're like, oh, we're just looking. The builder's agent will make you write down your information, right? And then if you're like, oh, well, I want to do this, you can't bring me on anymore. They won't allow it, right? So, and I told this story before, but I went to a community, right? Because I was like, I really like this floor plan, blah, blah, blah. And it has a CDD, but I was learning more about the community because I wanted to know like what, every time I go to a new community, I have a few questions that I ask the builder's agent, right? What are the base prices? If it's a community where they allow you to do a to be built, right? Okay, so what are the base prices? What are the lot premiums, right? What are the move-in ready options, right? Like what are those prices? Can you give me a move-in ready sheet so that I can see what your inventory looks like, right? I want to know the HOA. I want to know if there's a CDD, and I want to know the tax rate, right? And then of course I want to know the incentives. Now, this agent literally told me, oh, I wouldn't tell them about the CDD. I'm sorry, what? What you mean you wouldn't tell them about the CDD? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. Hi, puppy. That makes no sense. 1 second. You have to, I didn't serve you, so you just have to take a plate and serve yourself. What, like, no. And you guys know that I keep it 100. Like, this is what it is. Like, these are the facts, right? And so this is exactly why I always say, like, please don't please don't do it by yourself. You're not saving anything. I promise you, you're really not. Like, you really want, that's my chicken, yes. You really want that outside representation, right? Anyways, so I don't even know how I got there. Okay, CDD. When it comes to a CDD, it may be worth it, right? It may just be worth it because you know where the community is, what the community offers, right? If the HOA is low and the CDD is kind of what you would pay with an HOA, it just is honestly going to depend. And I always tell you guys that, right? So my HOA, I think is like $125 a year, but my CDD, I think my CDD is like, I don't know, I think it's like $1,700 every year. So the bond is for 30 years, okay? So the actual bond, you pay it off in 30 years, okay. But there's an operating and maintenance portion of it. It's not that much, right? It's maybe a couple of $100s for the year, but you guys need to know that you would be paying for the operating and maintenance portion for the rest of however long you own that property for, okay? Because a lot of people would just be like, oh, well, you know, the CDD is for 30 years and that's it. But that's not true because you still have the operating and maintenance portion of it that you're still going to pay even after the 30 years, okay? So I want to make sure you guys know that. Carmen said HOA are leeches. They feed themselves with your hard-earned money. That's mafia to me. Use the county services you already paid in your taxes. JP said yes. T said my budget is low due to down payment. Thank you. And your lovely breakdown stacking up money. That's what we do. We come up with a goal and then we work towards our goal. We work towards our goal. Like, you know how many times I rented? Me and Vic, man, we moved 21 times, literally 21 times before we purchased our house. So I know. James said if Florida ever does away with property taxes, you would still be on the hook for the CDD if there was one. I'm guessing yes, you would. Absolutely, because it's a non ad valorem tax. So yes, you would still be thing. But I mean, that would still be better than, like, literally I think I would, man, I would say, like, I would save hundreds of dollars every month if I didn't have property taxes. Cosette said we are liking Colessa Township and the charter school with that community for work. Ooh, you could walk to work. That's a good idea. I really like Colessa Township. I really do like Colessa Township. I had clients who called me and they're like, we were looking at Colessa Township, which I think they were looking like a few years ago, and then they saw that I posted the DR Horton community and the ridge at Heathbrook, and they were like, oh my God, that's the location I want, because the ridge at Heathbrook, oh my gosh, that location is just excellent. It's a gated community, and you literally could walk down to the VA clinic if you wanted to. You could walk down to Starbucks and all of the stores. It's Heathbrook Plaza. So you have Epic Movie Theater, Ulta, Dick's Sporting Goods, Old Navy. The hospitals are over there. So it's a great location. T said, I never heard of CDD until you. Yeah, I don't know. I think, so we call it a CDD here. I think Texas has their own kind of name for it. So yes. So Kimberly, Kim, your CDD, the CDD is paid with your taxes. It gets escrowed into your taxes. Yeah. So when you're paying your mortgage, so what happens is that when you pay your mortgage, there are things that are escrowed, and your HOA gets paid separate, right? So your HOA is never a part of your mortgage amount. And so yeah, I mean, like I said, some people don't want an added fee. Me personally, it just has to make sense for me. Like, it just made sense for me and my family. I got an interest rate of 1.99%, right? So yeah, I'll take the CDD. Just, yeah, give it to me. I just try to educate you guys as much as I possibly can. And I'm not perfect. And I always say this, I'm not a lender. I'm not a tax appraiser, right? These are solely estimates, but it really does give you a good idea of what to look forward to. Like, you'll hear that lingo, like closing costs. Before I bought a house, I was like, what the hell are closing costs? I only thought that I had to have a down payment, right? Because I'm telling you, there's people who are like, oh, I just have to, if I'm going to do FHA, it's 3.5%, and that's it, right? But people don't know that, no, there's more to that. It's not just the down payment, it's closing costs. And that's why in Monarch School of Real Estate, I just try to educate everybody, because yeah, we do it in every single video, right? Because number one, I want to give you the numbers associated to the purchase price of the home that we just toured. But number two, there's a lot of new people on my channel, on watching my videos, and I just want to educate you guys, like I always say, to become savvy consumers. So yeah, there are closing costs. Closing costs are an accumulation of fees, loan origination fees, prorated taxes. So there's closing costs and there's prepaids, right? So prepaids are like your prorated taxes, prorated insurance, prorated HOA, things like that. So sometimes when builders are saying, okay, I'm giving this much towards closing costs, that's not necessarily covering your prepaids. It's going to depend, right? Like, for example, Highland Homes covers all of your closing costs and prepaids. And that's a big chunk, right? And so that's why if I was a VA buyer, I would look into a Highland home if I was strapped for cash, right? Because number one, they are also for move-in ready homes, they're having like a lower interest rate, and then they are also are paying all closing costs and prepaid. So that's going to be a big chunk of money that you don't have to think about. So that's always something to, that's the hardest thing now in the sense of a resale home, right? Because the resale homes, depending on the location, depending on the house and things like that, are competing against these really big builders that are offering those special interest rates and that are offering, to pay closing costs and things like that. So um, T said, I heard DeSantis wants to get rid of property taxes. It will go off. Oh my gosh. Yeah, but and we spoke about this a few weeks ago. If they take away property taxes, then the schools and the county and all that, they're gonna have to get their money somehow, right? So if they raise sales tax and all that. So I don't know. I would save a couple of $100 a month. I won't be mad. New Rosa, what do you think of Naples, Florida housing market? That's honestly not my market, so I'm really not sure. I think it's gonna depend. There's some beautiful houses over there, but as far as like the market is concerned, I'm not an expert over there, so I really couldn't, tell you. James said your most informative chat so far. Thank you, Alexis. I try. Sometimes we literally just chopping it up, talking about different things, but I try to be as informative as I possibly can. Kim said I like the Highland floor plan homes. Yeah, I really do like Highland floor plans, Highland homes floor plans. So we were there on Friday. We went to the Copper Leaf community in Ocala. It's one of their newest communities in Ocala, and we did the Summerlin 2 floor plan, which is a 4-bedroom plus an office, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage. It has a covered lanai. It has like a large family space, like open floor plan type of thing. And all of their islands are pretty big, and they have really nice walk-in pantries as well. I think so. For me, Highland Home is known for like those their large islands, their large kitchen islands, and their walk-in pantries. So I do like Highland Homes. And I want to say all of them. I want to say all of them have a covered lanai. So in this community, like I mentioned, it does have a HOA, but it's fairly low. It's $750 for the year, and there's no CDD. The lots are on like 0.20, and it's on public water and sewage. So if you're looking like to be in a community but the lower HOA, and I don't foresee the HOA going up by much if it does go up, because there's no amenities. There's really the only thing you're maintaining is the sidewalks and the community common grounds, but there's no amenities in that community. She said it was good. The spaghettis were good. He said, how much are lenders charging? I have always wondered, is it included in my closing costs? It is included in your closing costs. So different lenders charge different things, and especially if you're doing loan origin, like lowering the interest rate and things like that. So there are different fees when it comes to lenders, but you're also paying title fees as well. And so yeah. So El Alva, I don't know if I'm saying that right. She or he, I'm not sure. What's the average amount for closing costs? So that's a great question. So I always say it's around 3 to 4% of the purchase price, right? Sometimes the builders closing costs are a little bit more inflated than they would be if you're doing, like, let's say a resale home or like a Marion Oaks smaller builder, right? But like some of the bigger builders, I feel like their numbers are a little bit more inflated. But I mean, they're covering most of your closing costs, so I feel like maybe just a wash. So normally it's around 3 to 4% of the purchase price. So you do the down payment, depending on, FHA. A lot of people don't know this too, and that's why I always try to say it in my videos, is that if you've owned the home in the past, you can still qualify for an FHA loan, even though FHA is primarily for first-time home buyers, but you can still qualify for one, right? Also, what I wanted to say, the biggest difference, I would say, one of the biggest difference between an FHA loan and a conventional loan is that FHA, you're going to have private mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, right? So even if you get 20% of equity in your home, you're still going to have private mortgage insurance. So then you can always like refinance into a conventional loan as long as you qualify for it, right? And then you can have that private mortgage insurance taken off, which is going to save you a couple of $100s a month. But yeah, I just try to break it down as much as I can. But that's mostly like when I'm going to a new construction builder, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking to see what their tax rate is so that we can have an idea of what the taxes are. A lot of people don't know about Florida homestead tax exemption, which you definitely should file for the Florida homestead tax exemption. It's a $50,000 discount, and it's gonna save you money on your taxes. Also, I've sent so what we do at the Evolve Estates group is that when we get towards like the end of the year, we'll send all of our clients that have closed the home. And so, for example, so for this year, we'll send all of our clients' homes. For this year, at the end of the year, we'll send an email to all of our clients that have purchased a home in 2025, the link to their specific county for filing for the homestead tax exemption, as well as if you've already had a home in Florida, right, and that was homesteaded, then you can transfer it's called portability. You can transfer it to your new address, right? And we give you all of the steps on how to do that and things like that, because you're going to be saving money. James said, what builders are great after the sale on warranty items, if you can say? I would say most of the builders are providing like a 1 to 10 builder's warranty. So it's basically 1 year of workmanship in the house, right? 2 years of like your electrical, plumbing, and then 10 years structural. So that's for the most part, most of the builders are doing that now. And that's another thing. Like some builders are like, the smaller builders are only doing like a 1 year, like the minimum that Florida requires them to do. And I think it's 1 year workmanship and 7 years structural. I think it is. UK said, yep, FHA outside of 3 years of your last purchase. T said, my friend bought land in Rainbow Lake Estates. It was 1 acre and the loan came out to $275,000. I would love for the space and price is not bad. My only complaint is the build. Yeah. Rainbow Lake Estates, you're gonna have like because it's still a little bit rural over there. So you're gonna have like the larger lots with some homes on it, and they are gonna be a little bit less expensive. I do think that the next upcoming area is Citrus Springs. So I'm thinking about like doing some houses over there. I know one of the builders that I usually sell his homes. His son is building in Citrus Springs. And once it's completed, then I should be the one who's selling the house, and it'll be on my channel. But Citrus Springs, the prices are going to be less expensive for the most part than Marion Oaks, because Marion Oaks is growing. Marion Oaks, they're getting a Publix. D.R. Horton is building a brand new community right outside of Marion Oaks. Well, technically it's kind of within Marion Oaks type of thing, but it's not. So yeah, it's a whole brand new community off 484, if you're familiar with Ocala. So yeah, a lot of growth is happening in Ocala. I've been saying that for the last couple of years already. I'm like, this is the time to get in. Margaret said, what does the CDD cover? So the CDD is going to be the infrastructure of the community, like the infrastructure of the pool, the streets, because what happens is that if whoever doesn't really understand what the CDD is that when a builder comes and sees a plot of land, right, and they don't develop their own land, they have the city develop their own land, then they take out a bond, and the bond, they put that 30-year bond on the homeowners. James said, any updates on your own house builds you talked about earlier? So full transparency, that is still in the works. We're working on just handling, some bills we need to take care of, but yeah, that's definitely still in the works. I will keep you guys updated. I'm super excited for that. Probably won't be until next year, but we need to put ourselves in a little bit of a better financial spot, to be able to truly just feel comfortable with like the numbers and the draws when it comes to building the house, right? So I don't want to rush into it either. So I'm not scared. It's financially, I just need to be in a better place, just a little bit of a better place. We have, when you live from check to check to check to check, and then you finally start making money, and you have a lot of like catching up to do, and that's what's happening. But it's okay. We're working on it. So I'm trying to help more families evolve in real estate, guys. Remember, don't gatekeep. Make sure you're telling the world about us, the Evolve Estates group, okay? T said, I know we speak about houses, but how much is leasing commercial space if I wanted to open a restaurant? Do you know any great plazas? I mean, it's going to depend, right? I don't really know too much about the commercial world. I just, I feel like commercial is a whole beast in itself. So I'm not really sure. But there's always, I mean, if you have good pizza, did you say pizza? No, you said plaza. Open up a restaurant. If the food is good, it's gonna be popping. Nurel said, how is your competition as far as being a realtor in the surrounding areas? That is a good question. Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so especially in this market here, the Central Florida area, including Ocala, it's oversaturated with agents, right? There are so many agents, and I have a lot of people who are here on my live who watch everybody else too, and I'm do that, right? You don't have to just watch me. So there's so many realtors on YouTube actually, and sometimes we end up covering the same houses and things like that, right? And a lot of us are actually from the same office, right? Like who's from the same so I know that you guys know these names once I'm gonna start saying them. So we have Margie. Margie's from the same office I am in. Wendeley is from the same office I'm in. Jose Reyes is from the same office I'm in. Renzo is from the same office. And then you have like the Spanish team, like Ranzel is from the same office. Paola is from the same office. So a lot of people are in my office who are doing like what I'm doing. Like not that they're copying me or anything, but what I'm trying to say is that we're all on YouTube, right? And so that's why I always say, and that's why I like YouTube, because it just comes down to who you want to work with. Because honestly, we each have access to the same exact houses. So it's going to come down to who you want to work with, right? And now for me, and this is what when I coach, when I teach classes on YouTube and things like that, I always tell other agents, don't be afraid to do a house that your peer has done, right? you're gonna have a whole different perspective on that house, right? And you guys know me, I'm just super raw, honest, transparent. I just keep it real, right? I am who I am. So I'm definitely gonna show a house different than my peers, right? And some people like my personality. I'm very sassy. I'm just real. I'm real, right? I'm born and raised in New York. Like, what you see is what you get. And then some people don't like it, and then some people love it, right? And so you know, it is what it is. You still have people who are like jumping from realtor to realtor to realtor. And honestly, I'm at the point in my career where I'm just like, listen, if you feel that you need to talk to 50 different agents, that I'm just not, I'm not your agent, right? Because when people call me, people know they want to work with me already, right? And that's the only people that I want to work with. I want to work with the people who are super, like, they're 100% like, no, you my girl, I know you got me, I want to work with you, right? And then, you know, there's a lot of flip-floppy people there too. Or there's people who call and say things about the other realtors, and I'm like, listen, I don't want to hear all that. Like, that's, everybody has their own perspectives and things like that. But you know, there's gonna always be competition. And you know, we collaborate a lot in our office, and just try to help each other, right? Because at the end of the day, there's just so much business for everybody. There's just so much business for everybody. So it's not even like, you know, there has been times where I have, you know, where I don't know, but the client is actually talking to somebody else too, but they have a signed buyer broker agreement with me. And sometimes it gets super messy. And honestly, you guys know I have 6 kids. I have my kids to feed, right? I can't play that. I don't play those games where it's like, I need to know you want to work with me, and I got you, right? Like, that's it. And there are people who use me, right? There are definitely people who use me, and it's sad. It's so sad. We just had something happen this last week where um I had a person call me, right? And he was like, "Oh, you know, he said that last year he was working with another realtor, and that just didn't work out, and all this other stuff." And I was like, "Okay, well, you know, that's your past experience. Well, like, I'm somebody new, whatever." And he would just give me short notice on when he was coming to wanted to see houses in Ocala. And like, a Friday, and you telling me you coming tomorrow, I can't make that work, right? Especially if I'm already if I already have a busy schedule, or if I have something scheduled with my kids. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not canceling something with my kids to show a home. That's just not happening, right? And if either you respect it, you respect it. If you don't, there's other realtors. Anyways, but I would have him with, I would set up the showings for him with with another agent, like one of my partner agents, that she'll show houses for me in Ocala, or if I can't make it, right? And so she showed him the houses, blah blah blah. We have been talking, and I'm very, just, even though I was doing something else, I couldn't be there in person, I'm still following up, like, hey, what questions do you have? How can I help you? What are you thinking? Okay, you need information on this, let me get that for you. And so he wanted warranty information from the builder's agent, and it took her, like, no lie, like 5 days to get it to me, because she said she was on vacation. Okay, well, that's not my fault. That's not something that I can control. Anyways, so you know how when your intuition, like, we always need to listen to our intuition, right? So he said, okay, it's I'm just thinking about these two houses, is between these two houses, and I'm gonna make a decision by Tuesday. Tuesday came and, like, completely ghosted me. I left a message, I texted him letting him know that I called you, I left a message, please let me know. I just, let me know what's going on so that I can know how to move forward, right? And then he sent me this text message that, you know, as a first time home buyer, he, you know, it's nerve-wracking, and that I wasn't the one who was showing him the house, and that and that the agent couldn't answer those questions that he had. And I was like, yeah, I told you that the agent is not there to answer any questions. I'm answering the questions for you. Anyways, it just felt very, very, very shady. And he was like, oh, I'm just moving in a different direction. Of course, you're moving in a different direction after I did everything for you, right? I gave you all the information you needed. I gave you everything, what we can go in at and closing costs and you know what I mean? So it's just, you still have, and it's so sad because you still have those people who like just take advantage or use you, or but it's the world we live in, right? And then honestly, real estate is a people business too, right? So you are going to just come into contact with different people, and on some people just don't value me, and that's okay, right? Not everyone is gonna value me, right? But I don't want to work with those people. Although I would say that I was very frustrated. I was very, very, very frustrated because I felt used, and that's not a good feeling, right? But you know what happens is that just allows more time and more energy to work with people who really do value you. And I had a few different calls after that day where they were like, oh my gosh, I want to work with you, and oh, I'm going to list my house or things like that. And so it's always a blessing in disguise. And sometimes, sometimes you can't really see it at the moment, in that very moment, right? Because the hurt just like takes over, and sometimes a little anger, I'm not gonna lie to you. But it's all good. It's all good. And am I perfect? Absolutely not. There may be gaps in our business. And then there are sometimes gaps in our business. And I'm like, oh, we need to fill that gap in very, very fast, right? Because no business is perfect. No business owner is perfect. There's going to be stuff that falls through the cracks sometimes. And it's just like, okay, it's always the how can we get better, right? Me and my team, I'm always like, how can we get better? How can I help you get better, right? What can we do? And like I said, I'm not perfect, but what I always have said from the very beginning, if you've been here, when I tell you I got you, it's because I got you. And just because I'm saying I got you doesn't mean that everything is going to be all rainbow and sunshines, right? Because there's stuff that there's beyond our control, that is like, oh wow, we didn't see that happening. But then how are we moving forward, right? How are we fixing that? I think that's the best part, or the most, that's where I'm always say that I got you, right? Like it's not always that it's a walk in the park, because sometimes these transactions are not a walk in the park. It's like, okay, we need to get creative. What do we need to do, right? For example, I have a listing in Riverview, a beautiful house, and we got an offer, right? And oh my gosh, and something told me, because I was like, because this agent is newer, right? And that's okay, we've all been there, right? So I'm going to coach you through it so that we can make this work, because I need to sell this house for my sellers, right? And you need to have this house for your buyers. But something told me, I was like, I always talk to the lender, but something told me to mention the CDD, because there is a CDD. And they she goes, Alexis, no, I don't even know who this is. And I was like, do you know that there's a CDD in this community? And she was like, what? There's a CDD? And I was like, oh my gosh. The lender needs to know that there's a CDD, because that's going to affect the debt to income ratio too. And that's going to affect the mortgage price, right? Like what they're approved for. And so we have been back and forth. I have been back and forth like since Thursday with these people. And I'm trying my very hardest, because I need to sell this house for my clients, right? And this is what I mean. Like this is not a walk in the park, right? It's like I have to do what I have to do, but I got you, right? I got you. We're gonna make it through. We're gonna figure it out. Okay. So don't think when I say I got you is because everything is going to be a walk in the park. Sometimes it is, and then sometimes it isn't. Sometimes, I can't control what buyers, agents, they don't show up on time, or stuff like that, right? But we have to work through it. At the end of the day, we work together as a partnership. This is a partnership. This is definitely a partnership, right? We have to have communication. We have to have an alignment. Oh, I just went in. My bad. Pedro said, by the way, Alexis, um, when we watch a house video from another agency, how we got the address for you, give us information and negotiate about the house. Yeah, so if you, I always tell my clients this. I'm like, listen, if you're still on YouTube, you're watching other agents, you see a house that they posted and that's the house that you love and you want more information, just text me. Text me, send it to me, and I'll give you the house information, right? Because we all have access to the same houses. It's impossible for me to cover every single house. I cover houses that I'm like, oh, I'm passionate about. Because if it's boring for me, you're gonna tell in my video, and my video is gonna be boring. So yes, absolutely. Janice said, but not everybody got us. You already know. James said, years ago I toured model homes and they asked if you have a realtor. If you write your name down, we are good, right? Yeah, we should be fine. James said, I don't want to waste your time unless I see what I want. No, I definitely respect that, right? But you just, if you go to new construction community, you want to say that you have an agent and that I'm your agent if I am your agent, right? Janice said everything happens for a reason. Absolutely. Sometimes, like I said, sometimes it's really, really hard to see that at the very moment. And like you get burned in all different aspects of life, right? And it's just, I feel like it's how you move forward. And it's super important. And then again, I felt some type of way. I was frustrated. I was angry. And Vic is I love Vic. If you guys know, Vic is my heart. Like, growing up, I'm just gonna tell this to you real quick because I could be here forever. But growing up, I didn't grow up in a loving household. My mom only told me she loved me when I was like going somewhere, right? There was no like affectionate, nothing like that, nothing like that. And I, unfortunately, I was told that, that I wish I was never born. Well, not that I wish, but they wish that I was never born or that I would die and things like that at a young age, right? And so I grew up with a lot of like, I was like abandonment issues type of thing, right? And so I didn't know how to love and I didn't know how to be loved. And and Vic, man, when I met Vic, I told him I'm a lot to handle, right? Because I knew I came with a lot of emotional baggage. And he was like, well, I got big hands. And I was like, ow, okay. And so almost 16 years later, right? He has just, oh my gosh, he has loved me. He has taught me how to love. And he has taught me how to be loved, right? Because it's something else to give love, but it's another thing to receive love, because I didn't know how to receive it. I didn't know how to be affectionate. I didn't know, what it was to like hug and just out of nowhere, right? And that's why what I do with my kids, I just hug them out of nowhere. I give them kisses. I love on them. They drive me crazy. Don't get it twisted, but it's a man. So anyways, he gives me like, he levels me out, and he's a very passive person, and he's very logical, and he's just like, okay, we keep it moving to the next one, right? And sometimes I'm just like, but my feelings are hurt, right? Maybe it's my ego. I'm like, my feelings are hurt, and a lot of the times you can't change people's perspective, right? We each have a perspective or perception, and sometimes it's just like what people think or what people perceive, and if that's not what it is, it's crazy, right? But it's okay. It's okay. And yeah, not to, I was telling my clients, because we had a long closing on Friday, and they were like, how are your parents? And I was like, I don't know. He was like, are they alive? I was like, I don't know. He was like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, well, I don't have a relationship with either or, right? And then, I just kind of I just, it's so funny because I'm at a place in my life now where I'm at peace with it, because even growing up, even as an adult, like I still yearn for that mother-daughter relationship. I still yearn for it. Even I was a mother already, and I was like, I still want my mom, right? And then one time my mom and my husband was in the car with me, and my mom was standing outside, and she goes, I could never have a mother-daughter relationship with you because you have anxiety. And I suffer from anxiety because I was abandoned, right? Like, I'm like, I have anxiety because of you, right? And I told my husband, I was like, babe, I was like, that's like me telling Eli, like, I can't have a son-mother relationship with you because you have autism. Like, what kind of stuff is that? Like, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. But I'm at a place right now where I'm at peace with it. I don't want a mother-daughter relationship. I have a mother-daughter relationship with my girls. I have a son and daughter relationship with my sons, right? And so I have a healthy marriage that I always tell Vic, I always say, if I would no, what do I say? I tell him I would live the life that I had to live 10 times again if I knew that it just led me back to you each time, right? And I'm so grateful for him. I absolutely, that's my rock. I love him. I absolutely love him. Sometimes he's a little too mushy and too like, I'm like, okay, I need my space, right? Because I was used to not being really hugged and things like that. So it took me a while to do it, to like be hugged and stuff like that. But my kids, oh, I hug them all the time. I don't even know how we got there, but that's a little bit about like my background or whatever, right? Like, but that's why, I fostered, I became we adopted and things like that. So okay, just a few more minutes. Uncle Josh said a few people are talking about a market crash. What are your thoughts on that? Honestly, I think it's gonna depend on the market, right? But here in Central Florida, I don't think so. Here in Florida, I don't think so. But I couldn't tell you about other markets in Florida. But here in Central Florida, we still have so many people moving and relocating from different states, countries, to Florida, and we're still in a healthy market. JP said, "Are we sisters?" I wish. Maritza said, "Do you prefer Florida over up north? My husband and I keep looking at jobs, but the pay cut is so big. I prefer Florida hands down every single time. Every time I have to go back to New York, like if I have to get my hair done, because I get my extensions done in New Jersey, I'm ready to come back home. Yes, the pay cut is different, right? But I would recommend maybe if you get a work from home job in New York that allows you to like work from wherever. I have a lot of people who have done that, and it works out for them. T said, "Oh, I feel that way. I had a tough upbringing as well." Yes, stay blessed. But because what I went through, it makes me who I am now. It really does. Cosette said, "Oh, mi amor." Did you say it like that, Cosette? Oh, mi amor. I just envisioned it. You and your lovely family. Thank you so much. Hey there, Alexis. Big ups from the Bahamas. My wife and I watch you religiously. We'll be in touch soon for an appointment in Ocala, then a house if you know a good immigration lawyer. I could definitely ask around for an immigration lawyer. Hold on. Raymond said, "I hear that I grew up in Great Oaks Village in Orlando and various strange places. Tonight I'm cooking for my family." What are you cooking for your family? Now my wife says, "I got you." I love that. I love that. JP said, "Love to see you and your family. Beautiful family." Thank you so much. James said, "God bless you, Alexis. My parents were both the youngest of 12 and were Depression area children. I often felt like the animals in the barn, just another workhorse." I got you. Oh, I felt that, James. Janet said, "That is amazing. May God grant you both a lifetime of love and happiness." Yes, amen to that. Cosette said, "Victor, you are the man. Blessings." He really is. He's such a great man. He really, really is. JP said, "Beautiful inside and out." Thank you so much. Kim said, "I don't have kids of my own, but I have officially entered my auntie stage." I got you. Oh, I need an aunt. Thank you. Cosette says, "Sí, mi amor." Gogo said, "I think the migration rate has changed significantly, especially now that the snowbirds aren't coming. More people are leaving than coming. Love your show." Well, thank you so much, guys. I really, 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 really appreciate it. It wasn't my intention to go down my semi-childhood, but it is what it is, right? It's a part of me. It is why I am the way I am today. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for rocking out with me every single Sunday. I really do love you guys. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, share. It goes a long way. remember, for the next 4 weeks, we're gonna just do one video every Monday. So if you guys could make sure you liking and you commenting and all that other stuff, so that we can make sure our channel gets back on track to more viewership and subscribers. Okay, I absolutely love you guys. I hope you have an amazing week, and we will be on next Sunday.